Okay, so we're moving on to controlling and styling text with CSS. So if you completed Quick Start 4 and you'd like to continue with that and you're happy that you did a good job of that, you can continue with that. If you'd like to make a fresh start, follow the link in the description to the video and go and download MogHub website Quick Start 5. So I'm going to do that. And unzip it and pop that MogHub website folder on your desktop to replace the one that you were working on previously. And then if you open up Dreamweaver, everything should connect up perfectly. Okay, so we have our CSS style sheet here, and so far we have the following selectors, and we're going to continue building on that. So on the index page, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, Control or Command minus, and we're going to control the text and do a few other things first, and then we'll deal with web fonts afterwards. Okay, so this list here, which is, if I look at the DOM, is in the header section and in the nav, and it's an unordered list, and there are these list items. So we need to deal with those list items. So I'm going to make a selector. Let me just select one of those, list item, make a selector, top links, ULLI. Okay, so that's a compound selector. So I'll hit enter. And I want to change the display setting. So if I go to the layout section and go down, you'll see that there is display is somewhere here. There it is, display. I want to set that to inline block. And you can see that it removes the bullets and it makes them inline instead of block level elements. I then want to go to padding and set the padding left to 10 pixels. Okay, that just spaces them out a bit, and the same for padding right. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to set the links. So if I just zoom in a little bit and scroll across, you can see that these have the typical browser treatment, which is if they are fresh links they would be blue and underlined, if they are visited links they would be purple and underlined. So we're going to change that using the A selector. So I'm going to go into my DOM and into one of the LIs and select the A, and then make a selector. Okay, and I'm actually just going to make it A. Then we're going to use a pseudo selector, colon, link. So what we're saying is this is what these must look like as links before I move my mouse over them or click on them. Okay, and all that we're going to do is set a color for the text. So text color, and it is going to be EE4A09. Okay, and EE4A09, and we're going to set our text decoration to none. So you might be thinking, well, why haven't they gone that color? Well, that's because we've set the pseudo selector link, and these are actually now visited, so we need to also set for visited. So new selector, A colon visited, and this time the color is going to be as follows: F8 9279. It's kind of a salmon-y color. And there you can see they change because we have visited these pages. Okay, and then we want to hover pseudo selector so that when we move our mouse over these links, they change. So plus a colon hover. And for this, we're going to change the color to something else, which is 9A CE 4D. So if I move my mouse over these, they're going to change to that green color. Okay, now you'll see that the home text doesn't change because that is the page we're on and it isn't a link. So we need to make a special case for that. So what we're going to do is create a class and we're going to manually apply that class. So new selector, to make a class is dot, and I'm just going to call it current page, and I'm going to set the color to signal that this is the page we're on to EE for A09. Okay, and we're also going to set a border at the bottom as well. So borders, border bottom, we will set it to solid, thin, and the color we'll set to that same color, EE 4A09. Okay, so nothing has changed because we haven't actually called that class called current page. So I'm going to go to the home li, and inside the li space class equals current page. And now you can see our current page is signaled with that styling. I'm going to do the same for gallery. So we're going to go, back to index. I need to also do it for the bottom link here. So class equals current page. And then we'll go to each one of these pages. Here's volunteer. Class equals current page. And just keep going. Membership. Gallery. Last one, bookings. Okay, and then we go just save all. All right. Save all. Okay, there we go. And then I'll go back to index. Okay, so we've got our links nicely done, and I'll just zoom out so that we can see that. So our header is looking nice and smart. We're going to do the background image in the next video, which will be about text decoration, but let's do the H1. So that's this Mog Hub here. So we're going to make a selector for H1. So this is just a tag selector. And we'll go to the typography section. We'll set the font size to M's and 2. So 2 M's, we'll set the color to white. Okay, we'll set the padding to, so I know that it's disappeared now because it's white on white, but we'll fix that when we put in a background image. Padding left, which will be under here, which will be 30 pixels, and border bottom, okay, there's border bottom, will be set to thin, solid, and the color will be EE 4A09. Okay, and then padding bottom, that is here, is 15 pixels, and margins over here, we'll lock them together and we'll set those to 0. Okay, the H2 we need to do next. So Selector, H2, and we need to set a font size to M's, and it's going to be 1.5 M's. Okay, next we're going to set the font weight to lighter, and letter spacing, that is here. Letter spacing we're going to set to 10 pixels. Okay, that spreads the letters out. Margins we're going to set to 0, so we're going to lock those together and just hit enter for one of those. And finally, padding left we're going to set to 30 pixels. Okay, so that is the H2. We're then going to set a selector for the paragraph tags, so P, and we'll set the font size to 1M. Okay, and we'll set padding left to 30 pixels. Okay, the footer, we're going to set some text stuff there. So it's kind of a mix of typography and also block level elements. So sometimes you can't isolate those. So footer, and this will be text align center, and it will be color white, and it will be font size 0.7 M's. 0.7. Padding top will be 10 pixels and bottom 5 pixels. So padding top 10, padding bottom 5. Okay, then we need to treat the bottom links. That's this one here. Let's just zoom in a little bit here. Okay, there's the bottom links. So we're going to make a selector, hash bottom links, and we're going to set the display to inline block. Okay, let me just carry on. I'll come back to that. It doesn't seem to have taken. We'll set padding left to 5 pixels, padding right to 5 pixels. Okay, why is this? I think that it might be. Okay, let's have a look here. So we have ID bottom links for our nav, and here bottom links show set. Let's see, display inline block. Oh, this is actually for bottom links LI. Okay, my bad. So the selector is bottom links space LI. There we go. Okay, I wondered what was going on there. Alright, and we've got everything else going on there. That's fine. Let me see what else we've got here. For the H2s on the other, some of the other pages, I'm going to style those specifically. So this will be for bookings and volunteer and membership H2s. So selector hash bookings space h2 comma hash volunteer space h2 comma hash membership space h2, and for those we're going to set the font size to M's 1.5. Okay, and then we're going to change the letter spacing back to normal, so that's down here, letter spacing normal, and we're going to set the text align to left. Okay, so that's the bookings H2, the volunteer H2, and the membership H2. Right, then we are going to move down to the paragraphs for bookings and volunteers. So let's go to bookings and let's make a selector for bookings P, comma, and then volunteer P. So for those two, we're going to set the font size to M's 0.8, and we're going to set the text align to left. Okay, and I think that's everything that we needed to do in terms of just straightforward typography. So we're going to move on to dealing with web fonts now. So you will know by now that when you are choosing fonts for websites, you are pretty much limited to system fonts that most computers will have on them, and that's why we have these lists. So for example, Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif, because what it's actually saying to the user or the viewer of this website's computer is please use Arial. If you don't have Arial, look for Helvetica. If you don't have Helvetica, whatever your default sans serif font is, please use that. So it's kind of like a backup in case those fonts are not available. And that's quite limiting. So we're going to look at using web fonts, which are fonts that are available and that you can package with your website so that you have a little bit more creative flexibility. So I'm going to go to Google Fonts, probably one of the best sources. There are other places, and there's Adobe. If you're a Creative Cloud subscriber, there is Adobe Typekit, but it's pretty much the same process. So here, I'm going to do a search in categories for handwriting fonts. Okay, and I quite like this Island Moments. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to download that family, and it will go into my downloads, and there it is, Island Moments. I'm going to copy that folder. I'm going to go to my website, MogHub website, and I'm going to make a new, let me just get rid of that. I'm going to make a new folder called Fonts, and I'm going to paste it into there, Island Moments. And you'll see that there is a TrueType font, a TTF. I'm then going to go back to Dreamweaver, and for my H1s, that's the white text on every page, I'm going to go to Font Family, Manage Fonts, Local Web Fonts, and I'm going to browse for the TTF font. Browse, there it is in the fonts folder, TTF. Okay, and I'm going to call it Island Moments Regular. I'm going to just say that I have licensed it properly, and then press Add. If it's a Google font, it will be licensed for use, and add it, and then Done. So now for my H1, I can go to Font Family, and there is my font, and if I choose it, you'll see my text changes. And now I want to also change the size because it's a bit small now. So let's change the font size to 3 M's. Yeah, that looks better. And it should trickle onto all pages. Okay, there it is there. There it is there. And okay, we can't see it here because it's against white. Just trying to figure out why it's not here for gallery. Oh, because we don't have an H1 with gallery in it. So that's something I missed further back. Okay, so that's dealing with web fonts. So it gives you more flexibility. Obviously, it means that font must travel with your website when you upload it. Alright, so that's dealing with typography in various ways in Dreamweaver. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and see you next time.